You know, there's a specific kind of silence that happens right before a storm breaks. It's heavy, it's electric, and it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Well, that is exactly what the air felt like outside the grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton in downtown Boston last Saturday night. Standing there, checking her reflection in the darkened window of a sleek, matte black town car, was Maya Thorne. Now, if you don't know who Maya Thorne is, just open any fashion magazine from the last 3 years or check the Forbes Under 30 list. She's the founder of Lamina, a tech-driven skincare empire valued at over $60 million, and she is, without exaggeration, breathtaking. Skin like deep, polished mahogany, a smile that could stop traffic, and a presence that commands a room before she even speaks. But tonight? Tonight she wasn't Maya the CEO, or Maya the supermodel. Tonight, she was walking back into the one place on earth that had tried its absolute hardest to convince her she was nothing. Inside those double oak doors sat the class of 2014 from Crestview Preparatory Academy, an elite, old-money private school where tuition costs more than most people earn in a year, and waiting inside was Brittany Vance. Brittany was the kind of girl who peaked at 17 and has been trying to chase that high ever since, the girl who weaponized her popularity like a loaded gun. Brittany had organized this 10-year reunion with a very specific, very cruel agenda. She had prepared a then and now slideshow, and the centerpiece, the punchline of her little joke, was supposed to be Maya. See, back then, Maya wasn't the woman you see today. Back then, she was the only black scholarship student in a sea of white faces. She was struggling with severe, painful cystic acne that covered her cheeks. She was 50 pounds heavier, and she was so shy she used to eat her lunch in the library supply closet just to avoid the cafeteria. Brittany had nicknamed her the Shadow, not because she was quiet, but because Brittany said she was too dark to be seen properly, a nasty, racist little dig that the teachers conveniently ignored. So Brittany had invited Maya tonight not to catch up, but to humiliate her one last time, expecting the shy, awkward girl to walk in so they could all share a laugh at her expense. But what Brittany didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the girl they broke didn't just put herself back together, she built a fortress. Let's rewind for a second, because to understand the satisfaction of what's about to happen, you have to understand the pain. Picture it, 2010, freshman year. Maya's mom, a single parent working double shifts as a paralegal, drops her off in a rusted Toyota Corolla while Bentleys and Range Rovers idle around them. She spent her savings on a dress. She spent 3 hours doing her hair. She waited on her front porch for 2 hours in the freezing cold. Tyler never showed up. At 9 p.m., she got a notification on her phone. It was a photo on Instagram, posted by Brittany. It was a picture of Tyler and Brittany dancing, with the caption, "Imagine thinking you had a chance. Some people just don't know their place." Maya didn't cry that night. She just went into the bathroom, took off the dress, folded it neatly, and made a vow to herself. She swore she would never, ever let anyone make her feel that small again. She left Crestview, went to college across the country on a full academic ride, and she reinvented herself. It wasn't about vanity, it was about reclaiming her body. She found a dermatologist who actually listened to her. She started lifting weights not to be skinny but to be strong. She learned how to walk with her head high, and then, a photographer spotted her walking to class one day, and the rest is history, runways in Milan, covers in Paris, and then using that money to fund her own business because she realized the beauty industry ignored girls who looked like her. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. The invitation arrives in her inbox. Crestview Class of 2014 Reunion. A night to remember. Maya was going to delete it. She was going to hit trash and never look back. But then her phone rang. It was Chloe. Now, Chloe is important. Chloe was the one girl at Crestview who never laughed, the quiet girl who sat in the back and saw everything but was too scared to speak up. Well, Chloe grew up to be an investigative tech blogger, a woman who hunts down corruption for a living. "Maya," Chloe said, breathless, "don't delete that invite." "Why?" Maya asked, sipping her matcha in her glass-walled office. "I have no desire to see those people." "Because it's a trap," Chloe said. "I still have access to the old alumni server. Brittany Vance has a private group chat going. They're planning a roast, Maya. They're taking your old yearbook photos, the ones where your acne was bad, the ones where you looked unhappy, and they're planning to project them on a 20-foot screen when you walk in. The caption they chose is from sad to sadder. They think you're working retail in Ohio. Maya, they have no idea who you are now." Maya went silent. She felt that old anger, that cold, hard knot in her stomach. But then, it turned into something else. It turned into fuel. "Send me the screenshots," Maya said, her voice calm, terrifyingly calm. "Send me everything." "What are you going to do?" Chloe asked. I'm going to accept the invitation, Maya said. And I'm going to bring a +1. So here we are. Saturday night. The Blacktown car door opens. A pair of red-bottomed heels hits the pavement. Maya steps out. She is wearing a custom-tailored emerald green silk gown that clings to her like liquid money, backless, elegant, devastating. Her hair is in natural curls, glorious and voluminous. Her skin is glowing. She looks like a queen coming to reclaim her throne. She walks up the steps. The doorman, who usually checks IDs with a frown, actually stumbles a bit and opens the door wide. Evening, Good evening, Maya says, her voice like velvet. Inside, the party is in full swing. Cheesy pop music from 2014 is playing. People are drinking cheap champagne, comparing receding hairlines and boring jobs. Brittany Vance is standing near the stage, holding a microphone, looking frantic. She's wearing a white dress that looks a little too bridal, a little too desperate. She's whispering to the AV guy, "Is the slide ready? Is it queued up?" Yeah. As soon as she walks in, the guy mutters. Brittany checks her phone. She should be here any minute. Get ready to laugh, guys, this is going to be epic. The double doors at the back of the ballroom swing open, and the room goes quiet. Not the polite quiet of a library, but the stunned, air-sucked out of the room quiet of people witnessing a miracle. Maya stands there, framed by the doorway. She doesn't walk in immediately. She waits. She lets them. The giant screen behind the stage flickers to life, humming with that electric buzz of anticipation, and Brittany Vance actually lunges forward, trying to grab the remote from Maya's hand, but Maya just sidesteps her smoothly, effortless as water, leaving Brittany stumbling in her bridal white dress, looking unhinged. Don't do this. Brittany hisses, panic finally cracking her perfectly applied foundation. You have no right. I have every right, Maya replies, her voice cool and steady. You invited me to a show, remember? I just decided to edit the programming. She clicks the remote again. The screen doesn't show Maya's old yearbook photos. Instead, it shows a series of screenshots, massive, high-definition screenshots of a group chat named the Reunion Roast Committee. Gasps ripple through the room like a wave crashing. People are leaning in, squinting, and then recoiling as they read the texts projected in 10-foot letters. Brittany, God, I hope she's still fat. I need a good laugh. Brittany, let's make sure the lighting is bad when she walks in. I want her to look like a troll. Brittany, I can't believe she actually RSVP'd. She's so pathetic, desperate for our approval. The room is dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Brittany is frozen, staring at her own words, her malice exposed in 4K resolution. Her husband, a guy named Chad who works in finance and looks bored, is now looking at her with something like disgust. Her friends, the ones who were giggling with her 5 minutes ago, are backing away, physically creating distance between themselves and the toxic epicenter. You see, Maya says, addressing the room, walking slowly toward the center of the floor. Brittany wanted to show you a then and now of me, but I think a then and now of her is much more revealing. Because while I spent the last 10 years building a company, building a life, building myself, Brittany spent the last 10 years staying exactly the same. Maya clicks the remote again. New slide. It's a montage, not of bullying, but of theft, receipts, emails. What is this? Someone whispers. These, Maya explains, pointing to the screen, are emails from a charity committee Brittany runs. You all donated to the Kids in Need Fund last year, right? $500 a plate. Heads nod. Confused. Terrified. Well, Maya continues, according to these bank transfers, which, by the way, are public record if you know where to dig, that money didn't go to kids. It went to a catering company owned by, oh, look, Brittany's mother, and a venue rental fee for a planning retreat in Cabo, which looks suspiciously like a bachelorette party. That's a lie. Brittany screams, her voice shrill, hysterical. She's lying. She hacked me. This is illegal. It's not hacking if you leave your laptop open at the coffee shop and connect to public Wi-Fi. A voice calls out from the back. It's Chloe. She steps out from behind the DJ booth, holding a tablet. Hi, Brittany. Remember me? The girl you called the mute. I learned how to talk, and I learned how to trace funds. Brittany looks from Maya to Chloe, trapped, exposed. The room has turned. The atmosphere has shifted from a party to a tribunal. People are pulling out their phones, checking their bank statements, whispering furiously. Maya walks up to Brittany, closing the distance until they are face to face. Maya in her emerald silk, tall and regal. Brittany shrinking, messy, exposed. You spent your whole life thinking power came from pushing people down, Maya says softly, only for Brittany to hear, but the room is so quiet everyone catches it. You thought you could drag me back to 2014. You thought you could trap me in that locker room forever. But the funny thing about hitting rock bottom, Brittany? It gives you a solid foundation to build a skyscraper. Maya turns to the crowd. I'm not here for revenge. Revenge is messy and boring. I'm here for justice. And I'm here to tell you that the ugly duckling you wanted to mock? She owns the pond now. She reaches into her clutch one last time. She pulls out a check, a physical check. She walks over to the donation box by the door, the one Brittany had set up for tonight's charity, and she drops it in. That's a donation for $50,000, Maya announces. Directly to the scholarship fund for underprivileged students at Crestview, specifically earmarked for mental health resources and anti-bullying programs. And my lawyers will be auditing every cent to make sure it actually goes to the kids. She turns back to Brittany. Consider it a severance package for your reputation. And then, Maya turns around. She doesn't wait for applause. She doesn't wait for an apology she knows she'll never get. She signals to Chloe, and they walk out, heels clicking on the hardwood floor, leaving a room full of people who are suddenly realizing that they bet on the wrong horse for 10 years. Outside, the air is crisp. The city lights are twinkling. Maya leans against the town car and lets out a breath she feels like she's been holding since she was 16 years old. Chloe walks up and high-fives her. A solid, resonant smack. Did you see her face? Chloe laughs, shaking her head. She looked like she swallowed a lemon whole. I saw, Maya smiles, and for the first time tonight, the smile reaches her eyes. It's warm, it's real. But you know what the best part was? What? I didn't feel angry, Maya says, looking up at the stars. I just felt free. I looked at her and I didn't see a monster anymore. I just saw a sad, mean little girl stuck in high school, and I realized I don't live there anymore. The fallout? Oh, it was swift. By Monday morning, the video of the confrontation, filmed by half the attendees, had gone viral. #The reunion reckoning was trending on Twitter. Brittany was removed from a charity board. Her husband filed for a temporary separation, and Crestview Preparatory issued a public apology to Maya, promising to overhaul their disciplinary systems. But Maya, she didn't really pay attention to the gossip. She was back in her office on Monday, running her company, designing new products, mentoring young girls who felt out of place. She took that pain, that coal, and she crushed it until it became a diamond, and she wore it not as jewelry, but as armor. So, here's the thing I want you to take away from this. We all have a Brittany in our past. Maybe it was a boss, a teacher, an ex, or just a voice in your head telling you that you aren't enough, that you're too dark, too loud, too poor, too weird. They want you to stay in that locker room. They want you to stay small so they can feel big. But look at Maya. She didn't win because she became a supermodel. She didn't win because she got rich. She won because she refused to believe the lie. She won because she realized that their rejection was actually protection. It pushed her to find her own path, her own people, her own power. So if you're out there right now, feeling like the ugly duckling, feeling like you don't belong, I want you to lift your head up. I want you to look in the mirror and realize that you are just a swan in waiting. Your feathers are coming in. Your wings are growing. And one day, you're going to fly so high that the people who tried to cage you will have to squint just to see your shadow. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever faced a bully and won? Have you ever had that moment where you realized you outgrew the people who hurt you? I want to hear your stories. Share them below. Let's remind each other that the best revenge isn't being mean. The best revenge is living a life so beautiful, so full, and so loud that they can't help but watch. Stay strong, stay kind, and remember, you define you. Nobody else.